person I want to introduce you to is Frank Centofanti. He's a certified anti-money laundering specialist with implementation of money service banking, marijuana-related banking, and as of late, our resident expert for the new California Consumer Privacy Protection Act. So I will hand it over to Frank.
Thank you, Radhika. The topic I'm going to be covering is BSA Transaction Monitoring. And one of the things that you'll need to look out for is the AML transaction monitoring system that you have in place. And you might have to adjust some of the parameters or some of the scenarios in your AML transaction monitoring system in order to reflect the different or the changing activities of members during the pandemic. So for example, whether you have branches that are open, completely open, or maybe a lot of branches are closed and members have to go to one other branch instead of their normal branch, or it could be reduced hours or whatever, or reduced functionality. The customer or the members may have to do their transactions in a manner different than what they're normally used to, and different than what their customer profile might indicate. So until you run the scenarios once or twice, you'll finally then get an idea if you're getting too many alerts or not, and what types of adjustments that you might need to make. So just as an example, in the financial services industry, you might have a customer or member that has a restaurant, for example, and restaurants are either closed completely or on very limited hours or limited types of service, just curbside service or pickup or things like that. They don't have the normal dine-in customers. So if you have a member like that that is getting a lot of cash or requesting a lot of cash, you'd have to, and so then you also have to determine whether or not you want to take additional risk and let a customer have that you might not normally let them have, or if you want to adhere to your current risk tolerances and not let that customer do that. So again, another decision that has to be made. ATM usage is another indicator. A lot of cash coming in the ATM or a lot of cash coming out of the ATM, more normal versus the member's behavior in the past. Another area to consider would be the inability to file BSA regulatory reports with limited timeframes due to staff shortages. So if somebody is out sick, especially a key person that's out sick, they might not be able to submit the reports timely. So FinCEN did issue a news release for financial institutions impacted by COVID-19 to contact FinCEN and their federal and state regulatory agency and to discuss any of the possible delays or inability to file the BSA reports. So you want to make sure that your continuity plan that's in place can address covering other staff positions, especially if the BSA officer is out sick, who's covering for the BSA officer? That's such a key position. And then also it brings to light the importance of cross-training your staff. So you want to make sure that people can cover when other people are out sick. And then moving on to some of the other key items to watch out for: elder abuse and other pandemic scams. So in terms of any kind of a crisis, it's always going to bring out people that are looking to take advantage of those that might be under stress. And you want to make sure that you're being vigilant for members that are being victimized by scams or by family members who may be putting pressure on them to take out home equity lines of credit when they normally wouldn't be doing something like that. So elder abuse could happen externally or could happen even within the family. Some of the scams that you could be seeing now would be imposter scams. So fraudsters that will attempt to act on behalf of a charity or a government agency, for example, Red Cross or the IRS or the CDC or the Social Security Administration, crowdfunding. So they may be soliciting donations or trying to obtain personal and private information throughout those attempts. Phishing scams, which are emails by fraudsters claiming to be a legitimate company, and they'll embed a hyperlink. So what they'll do is they'll somehow get your email and then send you an email with a link for you to click. So do not click on those links. You should always go to the site directly yourself. Go to Google or whatever search engine you're using and type in, like if you're trying to go to a CDC website, type that in yourself instead of clicking on the links. And make sure that your customers know that as well. Robocalls, there's probably going to be an increase in robocalls trying to get, let's say that they're offering help with getting stimulus checks or tax extensions or debt relief, and they might try to get member information that way. Investment scams, which would be promotions regarding products or services that make claims to detect or cure COVID-19. And that kind of goes hand in hand with product scams as well. Marketing ads or letters selling unapproved or misbranded products that make false health claims to prevent COVID-19. So some of the proactive measures that you could use to try to limit the elder abuse and other pandemic scams would be detection. So you could set up a screen in your system targeted at members that are aged 65 and over that have had a change in type or volume of activity, such as the cash withdrawals and so forth. Could be wires, check deposits, or withdrawals. You could also do customer notification, either by mail, by a website posting, by a message on the ATM machine, or making proactive phone calls to those members that you think might be more at risk. And then, of course, conduct training for the entire staff to make sure that they're aware of the different types of scamming activity that could be taking place nowadays. And then the last topic I wanted to cover was social media, which I think it would be a good idea to try to guide your staff in terms of things that they might want to post or not want to post. Make sure that the staff is getting information from official sites rather than third-party unofficial sites. Maybe they're hearing something from their friends that isn't quite accurate. So accuracy of information is very important right now. And then, posting items that might present a reputational risk to the credit union. So you just don't want to have anything that would be improper or incorrect being traced back to the credit union. And that wraps up the topics that I wanted to mention today.